Dale, it's Angela. So today I want to talk to you about higher education. We all know our entire education system is screwed in this country, but the focus today is college and university. You know, we all point to the universities, the professors, and, see defund education, defund universities, defund college, defund all of the indoctrination. And I'm right on board with that. I am also against the government basically supplying so much money to these universities to indoctrinate our children and, quite frankly, adults who go back to school. As you all know, I have hereditary angioedema, which is quite debilitating at times, and I've gone back to school. I've done 6 years of college, and since credits don't always transfer from educational institute to educational institute, I lost a lot of credits, and I am still now about 1 semester away from graduating, but the angioedema has made it difficult. Anyway, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying after 6 years of schooling, still don't have a degree. You may call me an idiot. I got a lot of that, quite frankly, after my Amy Coney Barrett video the last time, but I don't know that any of you would suggest that I'm not at least smarter, or at least as smart as, say, the White House press pool. I'd like to think that I am. Moving on. Anyway, so there is the government, the professors, the universities, colleges, what have you, the system. But there's also the employers. Yes, there are certain jobs. Obviously, we want surgeons to be as well trained as possible. We want airline pilots who are usually trained in the military anyway, which actually is a good point, which would be a good segue if I had thought of it before. But there are certain jobs, attorneys and so on, that you want to be well educated, and there really isn't an alternative to, say, a college degree. You need a law degree, you need a medical degree, things like that. However, marketing, PR jobs, I learned more on the job in real world application than I ever learned in school. In school, it's all hypothetical and theoretical, and there's no real hands-on application, not the same way. And for example, when I was working for Glenn Beck, and I know I always bring it up, but we did so much. We did Restoring Love. We did Restoring Courage. Restoring Love was huge. We went to Cowboy Stadium. We picked the venue. We organized a day of service, which was an entire day of volunteer work. 30,000 people showed up, and we had to orchestrate and assign them all jobs throughout the Dallas Irvine area. We had food can, we had 18 tractor trailer trucks worth of food. We had an event, we had many people performing and speaking and so on. So it was a huge undertaking. And I worked diligently on that night and day for months. And prior to that, as you all know, I worked on Being George Washington. I worked on, the daily shows and so on. I worked with other people, Trevor Loudon. I've worked on my own website. It was called Tavern Keepers and TK Radio Network and so on. My point being is, I don't have a degree. I have all that background, but not a degree. And I'm 47. So they'll look at me and I can't get a job. It's really unfortunate. And I look at my daughter, who has the unfortunate, place in history to be 18 the year we get hit with coronavirus. So her high school graduation, starting of college, everything was just destroyed. And as I said in one of my last videos, given the violence and the vitriol that we're seeing all over the country in liberal cities, there's no way I'm sending her down to the Boston-Cambridge area for college. I'm simply not going to send my child out of rural New Hampshire, where, yeah, I do feel safe. But I'm not going to send my baby girl down into these liberal-run cities where anything goes. This is a very scary time, and and just as an aside, I get pregnant, 9/11 happens 2 months later. I swear to God, the world is just centered around making my life difficult, my child's life difficult. I know, narcissism. Anyway, point being, guys, employers demanding a college education are just as culpable in this whole student debt scam and college education scam, in my opinion, as the universities and the government that funds them. I really do believe this, because There are things that should be considered apprenticeship. If you're working in a PR job or a marketing job, why can't you get trained on the job in, say, an apprenticeship program? Especially considering that many of these employers actually do pay for continuing education for their employees, for master's degrees and so on. So why not turn those funds inward and start a comparable apprentice program? And many employers could do this. There's a whole new way we should be looking at the world in education. And I just think that we're so antiquated and so stuck in a rut here that we keep making college out to be the end-all be-all. Which, if you think about it, they want to make college free for everybody. They want to give everybody access to a college education. But what happens then? It means nothing. It means nothing. It's just another piece of paper. And I'm not suggesting a high school diploma means nothing, but a college degree will become as valuable as a high school diploma. Actually, it's pretty much already there. That's why everybody's going for their master's. But you're spending more money for what? The teachers here in New Hampshire, if they have a master's degree, they get an extra, and this was years ago, it may have raised from, but my aunt is a teacher, and when she got her master's, she got like an extra $985 a year, and they were complaining about all the money that they spent. Well, first of all, I wanted to know, what did that master's degree bring to her classroom? Why are we just giving her more money based on just a certificate rather than job performance? How's that job performance measured is another conversation, but why, just because she went to college, or extra higher education, does she get more money? Why? Why don't we see if she can be innovative in her classroom? And why put her another, 20, 30 grand in debt for $900 a year? It just, that whole notion is bizarre to me. It's just a master's degree. So, without any application. So, and it's like that with a lot of these jobs. I see people who can't rise up in their positions because they don't have a master's. And that's because the college degree has become just about as valuable as the high school diploma. So when everybody gets a college degree for free, it's just going to be about as valuable as a high school diploma, and you're going to see everybody working at McDonald's and Dollar General. It's just how it is. It's kind of like reparations. There was a gentleman the other night whose name I can't remember. I think it was like Black Guns Matter he founded. But he said that reparations, let's give everybody in the country, we'll give black people 1.2, 1.5 million to make up for theirs. But every white person, everybody else will get 1 million. So 1.5 will be their reparations. And so if you give everybody in the country 1 million, setting outside the cost and whatnot, because look at what they're talking about in Congress, about another $3 trillion is what Nancy Pelosi wants. So let's not even look at the cost. And that was one of the points this gentleman made. So let's just set that aside. Even if you give everybody that amount of money, then you devalue that amount of money because we all have it. It's just a blanket amount. So you've devalued the dollar. So now we all have, these $1 million plus with no extra value added to them. You see how that works? It's great. It's great to have that, but it's not going to be this thing that people seem to think it is. So, anyways, I think we need to start looking at things a little bit differently. It's not just the universities, the professors, the government, and so on that are perpetuating this college thing. It's employers. You don't necessarily need a college degree for the majority of the jobs out there. So why are they making it a requirement? Just saying. I would rather have somebody... Maybe I'm biased. I would rather have somebody with 20 years real-world application in a variety of things and somebody who's nimble and knows what they're talking about than somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about, is overeducated, and everything is still a hypothetical. Well, why shouldn't it work this way? Because that's not how the real world works. And these people coming out of school want everything to work based on feeling. But you only learn from real-world experience that feeling passion only gets you so far. You gotta have strive, diligence, and endless, you just have to pick a plan and stick to it. That matters more in the real world than having a piece of paper because you spent 4 years at a school. Anyways, those are my thoughts for the day, guys. What do you think? Hit the Rumble plus button, leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, do the whole thing. I am on Rumble and YouTube. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate you. Talk to your kids about politics before someone else does, because look at the mess we made. Talk to your kids about politics before someone else does, because look at the mess we've made, because past generations didn't speak to all of us. Wow, that was a mess, and I'm not going to edit it. Talk to you later, guys.